What's up, everyone? It is Two Dudes with Attitudes Thursday edition, y'all. Special edition, because my man, Shooting Star Press, had to go to Boston to drink some Sam Adams and eat some Dunkin' Donuts, huh? Are you a knock? Are you a knock?
I'm not a cop.
Are you a
I'm
knock?
not a knock. I'm not a knock. Are you a
A
cop?
what? A knock. Are you a cop?
You seen that? You've seen that episode of How I Met Your Mother where they're like, "Are you a co-op?"
Yes.
I'm not a co-op.
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah, I love.
I've
that
watched
part.
How I Met Your Mother, I think 4 times. So the How I Met Your Mother, and then also the Sandra Bullock cop one with homegirl who's playing Ursula. That's the knock one because she's a cop or whatever, and she's like over at her house, their kid's house. Yeah,
I think it's called, or the Heat.
Yeah,
or
Heat.
something.
Yeah, Heat. Yeah, Heat.
Yeah.
Are you a knock? Am I a what? Are you a knock? A what? What do you don't speak English? Are you a knock? Are you a knock? A what? It's like the best. Oh, a narc. Yeah, a knock. But yeah, so how's Boston? I heard you went to go watch some Celtics basketball, world champion Celtics. You know,
won their game by 40 points or something like that yesterday. It was a fun time, but I'm here just to escape the southern heat of North Carolina. It's cold here. It's like 49 degrees outside. You got to have a coat everywhere you go, and it's the middle of May. It's May 2nd or May 3rd, whatever today's date is. May the 4th be with you. That's what it is. And I just dropped
today is May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
That's right. I got to get into my Star Wars stuff for work today. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, it's May it's cold and windy and rainy, but yeah, it's a fun time to be in Boston. And I'm actually staying in a hotel, and as you can tell by my background, I'm in a conference room type thing that I didn't reserve or book. So it's just a matter of time before the security people come and find me in here and tell me that you're not allowed in here. You can't be in here. What are you doing in here?
Yeah.
You need to get out of here.
What are you, a knock?
Yeah. Like, I'm not a cop. I'm not a knock. But yeah, they're going to tell me I got to get out of here. So when they do, I may drop, but you can carry the show while I'm gone. But I'll
do my
find
best.
a spot. But
I'll do my best.
But no, yeah, I'm committed to the pod for doing this on the road. You know, I don't have any of my equipment with me. I don't have my mic or my headphones or anything, but I'm committed to the cause.
I like it. I scratch my finger and I have to take the day off. So you're a lot more committed than I am. I gotta say, so now you've been to the Staples where you got to see where the Lakers and Clippers play. Now you've been to Boston where the Celtics play. So how are the prices with food and drinks? Let me hear from SoFi and so on. Is it the same? Is Boston cheaper or way more? Do they have Dunkin' Donut stands all through Celtics Arena?
Yeah,
the TD Garden? Called the TD Garden now?
Yeah, the TD Garden.
TD Garden.
Yeah, but no, they do have Dunkin' on like every corner up here, which is crazy. Yeah, I would say the drinks here, like I got a Diet Coke the other day, and it was $5.50 at the Boston Celtics game. It was and it was a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke, and it was $5.50, and I was like, Jesus, like this is. Yeah, it's not worth that much. Yeah, and then the beers were like $11 or something. So,
so that's cheaper. All right.
Yeah. And then, I thought for sure that they would make the prices a little higher because it's a playoff game in the playoffs, but they really didn't. I mean, it was. I think it's a little cheaper here than it is in LA, but still crazy expensive. It's all way.
Yeah, we were paying like $18 a beer in SoFi and at Staples. Yeah, they're super expensive.
And I wonder if they did that because of the event, like because it's like the Super Bowl of wrestling and it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or if it's like that for everything.
You know, it's always around $14 or so. When I go to hockey games or basketball, baseball, it's always, they differ. I mean, I'm sure they raise prices when need be, like Mania, but especially when they were selling us like tall cans for $18. Remember that? $20 after tax. And then they would ask for tips, although I had to go grab it out of a cooler myself. They were literally they didn't even scan it. I had to hold it and they just beep. They didn't touch it or anything.
They were quick to hit that like tip button too. I'll put your card in. I hit 20% for. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
Edit undo. Yeah. Control Z.
Control Alt Delete.
Slow down.
Thank you.
Slow down. Yeah. Because I literally went and got my own stuff. I will say they didn't have any of those. They didn't have any of the automated, like go get your own beer and scan it yourself. Everything I've been to so far, they've had a person there to get it for you.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
so they earn
Nice.
their $1.50 tip or whatever it is. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what the taxes out there. Cali's taxes are the highest, I believe. So we're like at 19 now, I think, or something like that.
please,
So
yeah,
yeah, I know. 19. Imagine that. Like it's insane.
yeah,
Like so anyway, all right. So let's talk about some SmackDown, man. And actually,
yeah.
WWE had a busy week, right? We did what
Oh yeah,
everybody loves. We brought the draft. And we talked about the draft beforehand, and we were trying to wonder what they were going to do this time. They had the boardrooms, the draft rooms, but they didn't show who was in them, thankfully.
yeah,
It wasn't Adam Pearce making all the decisions. It was people behind two doors that probably had wrestlers in it who were changing, that just had Raw and SmackDown on the doors. Or they were like storage closets. But they did announce that, because I was talking about last time we were on, that I thought it was stupid that, certain people get picked and they get saved. Well, they split the roster in half. So they only give you so much. So basically one half was for SmackDown draft, one half was for Raw's draft. So that way we can have, Cody Rhodes and Roman and Rhea and Seth be higher picks on two different shows. So they explained that. They did say multiple times with the tag teams that you don't know what's going to happen. Montez Ford, this could be the last time he's ever going to wrestle with the Street Profits because he can be split. Well, they threw that out the window because not one tag team was split. Every tag team was picked as a duo. And there was even some really weird picks, which we'll get into. And one of the ones was the OC because they haven't been around forever. Homegirl isn't even pretending to be in the OC anymore. But dang, when they got drafted, all of them got drafted in that crew. So they picked up everyone. LWO, they got 5 people by just picking the LWO. So there were all sorts of
the whole thing just made no sense. It would be like the NFL draft being like, okay, with the first pick, I'm selecting a quarterback, and then the second pick, I'm going to take a cornerback, a running back, a receiver, a tight end, and an outside linebacker.
Yeah, because they're all friends. Like I'm taking,
because it's the Legion of Boom or what. I'm like,
yeah,
are you serious right now? Like you're
yeah, I'm taking the whole Cowboys offensive line. I just want them, and then you can have your receiver.
They can be drafted as one collective unit. What? No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And if you're gonna do that, then at the beginning of the draft, say like tag teams will get drafted together, factions will get drafted together. But we had 2 factions that didn't get drafted together, so we'll talk about that as well. So let's get into it. Let's start off. So SmackDown. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run through who got drafted to SmackDown on SmackDown and who got drafted to Raw. And then you and I will go back and forth. I'll give what I think was stupid or great or bad or whatever, and then you can talk about it. Also, NXT, I was confused. They said the NXT roster was up for grabs, but was everybody up for grabs? Because there was why would Carmelo Hayes not get drafted? Why would Braun Breaker not get drafted? So I was confused on that. Did you hear something different? Did you hear why only certain NXT people? Because the first people picked in NXT, even though they're tag team champs, was very weird. Why would they get picked over all the talent? If the whole NXT roster was up for grabs, there's a 0% chance Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker wouldn't have gotten picked.
Right.
So I didn't understand that concept either, because champs did get picked. So it's not like Carmelo was untouchable. Like no one in Raw and SmackDown thought Carmelo Hayes was ready. They were like, nah, he's average at best.
Well, he probably wasn't eligible because he was in the hospital and didn't file his draft papers.
Is that why he didn't? Yeah,
he didn't put in his draft eligibility papers or something.
And Braun Breaker's too angry, so he can't get drafted. And then we had a thing called free agents. And so basically whoever doesn't get drafted, and some people got drafted into free agency, they can wrestle on both shows. So I don't get that either. Like you're not good enough to get drafted, except for Brock Lesnar. He chose to be in the free agency. We'll just throw that spoiler out there. Brock Lesnar decided to be a free agent. So that's in his contract. But I don't get it. If you're going to split brands, why have them bounce back and forth? I thought that's why we made a new championship. And then we'll talk about too, like the tag team. All tag team champions went to one brand. So what does that say for the other brand? So we got a lot to talk about and not much time to talk about it. So SmackDown, number 1 pick of all was the Bloodline. So you have Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, the GOAT, Roman Reigns, and the Usos didn't. No, they're not part of the Bloodline. They're in the Raw draft later on. So just the Bloodline minus the Usos can get drafted later. I didn't get it. Number 2, SmackDown got Bianca Belair. They got the Street Profits, which makes sense. They got Edge. They got Bobby Lashley. They got the OC, so that was everybody and their mama. They got Damage Control, so I don't know if they're going to stay together, but I was excited to see that. And then they first NXT picks were the women's tag team champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Raw, with their first pick, they got Cody Rhodes, which we can discuss, and I'll discuss in a second. Then they got Becky Lynch, Imperium, so they got all three of them. Matt Riddle went really early. Drew McIntyre, The Miz got drafted. Shinsuke Nakamura, and then why not? Let's just have the other women's champion of NXT, Indy Hartwell, the ankle injured Indy Hartwell, is going to Raw. So I saw a pattern here, and there's also a pattern in the Raw draft. They got drafted in like sets, right? Like if and we'll see too, because Imperium, so the Intercontinental title is on Raw. I guess you can guess where the U.S. champion's going. So they've made things obvious. Yeah. Bianca Belair went to SmackDown. I get you can find out where Rhea's going. So they basically made everything like a thing. But also, like, Roman went one place, Cody went to the other. Like, the women's NXT titles went somewhere, and then the women's title went some. So they kind of did that thing. Some things I like. I mean, the Bloodline, I didn't like that the Usos didn't go with them at first. I do like Roman staying on SmackDown. It's what he needs to do. He is SmackDown, and I'm pretty sure Fox pays a lot of money to keep him on SmackDown. I did not like that that we started off with no breakups. They hinted at it. I thought the Street Profits should have broken up. It would have been better to do it that way than have them feud later. Other than that, I do like the picks. I like where everybody kind of went, except for two. I don't like Bianca Belair going to SmackDown. I get why she did, to be with her man, but if we get the stupid, we'll talk about that later. But Bianca being the Raw champion and going to SmackDown, it's just so cliche. They do this every year. The Raw champion goes to SmackDown. The Universal, remember, it used to be red and now it's blue. Mm-hmm. It's so stupid. The other thing I didn't like was Cody Rhodes. I wasn't for that. I don't think Cody Rhodes, if he's still talking about telling his story is to win a title that was made up and created. Because I don't care what anybody says. Like, I think Seth Rollins needs to win this championship 100%. And I think he'll bring credibility to it. But this shit's a fake championship. And Roman's going to call it out when he's on SmackDown, whenever he's coming soon or whatever. He's going to talk
next week. Yeah,
next week. So he's going to talk about it. That's a fake championship. It was literally just made out of thin air. If Cody wins that belt, that's whack. And if he doesn't win the belt, it's whack, because now he looks like he can't win any belt. So I have no idea why Cody Rhodes went to Raw. Minus that, those are the only two things. Everything else I kind of liked. Taking NXT women's champions, I don't understand and I don't appreciate, because I always feel like you need to lose and then go to the big show so you can give that belt to somebody. We'll get more into that later when we talk about NXT with those champions. But what say you? What do you think? Was there anything you missed or didn't like, or do you like, Cody going 1, Becky going number 2 makes sense? I mean, these were big, at least these were big names. The Raw draft was a little bit weirder. I thought some people went too early and random, but I thought this was I like that Damage Control stayed, but I didn't get Bianca and I don't get Cody. I thought Cody should have went to SmackDown.
Yeah, I think that was my big thing too, is I think Cody Rhodes should have gone to SmackDown. Why he went to Raw is beyond me. And, are they keeping them separate for a reason? Do they not want him to have any more interactions with Roman Reigns between now and WrestleMania? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I mean, I think they can book their way back to Cody versus Roman, I guess. But but now it's like, does he enter the World Heavyweight Championship tournament? Does he need to enter it? Does he get screwed out of his match against Brock Lesnar, and that's his main focus now going forward? I don't know. I didn't care for that. And then the other pick that really surprised me was Indy Hartwell coming to going to Monday Night Raw, the NXT Women's Champion. And the only reason why it surprised me was because I don't feel like this was a last minute decision. I don't feel like they were like, oh, we got to make a pick. The clock's running down. We're on the clock. And everybody else has been taken. So, okay, Indy Hartwell. I think, I'm sure WWE had this planned. And just last week on NXT, you had her in a women's match where she broke her ankle, literally, like she's in a walking boot. And it looked like the other two, Roxanne Perez and who was the other girl that was wrestling?
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, they were carrying the bulk of that match. They were carrying the load of that match. And then looked like they called an audible, and then they sent Indy Hartwell back out there. And it's just like, why didn't you just keep her in the back and let one of those, Roxanne Perez or Tiffany Stratton, leave spring break in with the NXT Women's Championship, then you could have drafted Indy Hartwell to Monday Night Raw, and I think that would have made complete sense. You wouldn't be taking a championship with you. We'll talk about that when we get to the NXT stuff, but yeah, that one really surprised me. Anytime you take champions, it's just, okay, how are they going to drop the titles? And now it's another tournament, another thing that's coming to the week of Night of Champions. And I don't know. I just didn't like. Yeah, Indy Hartwell and Cody Rhodes were the big surprises for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think, do you think that Indy was drafted because of the injury? Do you think they were like, shoot, she's injured, we have to take the title off her. If we bring her over to Raw, at least we have an excuse. She can say that's why, although she really didn't, and we'll talk about that in NXT. But is that why? And then, but the thing is, I think now if she's truly, I don't know how injured she is, so she'll get forgotten. You know what I mean? Yeah. Going to Raw, she won't get forgotten if she would have stayed in NXT. So I think it was a hit miss as well. Yeah, I think she'll get forgotten.
I mean, I think it's possible that that maybe she is hurt, and that's the reason for drafting her, and they can let her nurse that injury while they build other people up on Raw, which fine. But my whole thing is why have her retain the NXT championship, at spring break-in then?
If you were gonna,
knowing she was gonna go to Monday Night Raw. That was that's the whole thing. I guess it makes it look better if the reigning defending NXT Women's Champion is drafted, but I don't know. I think you could have done it. You could have done it because she wasn't drafted early. It was one of like the last picks, and it really stunned me. It was just like, oh, like I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy for her, and I'm glad that she's coming up to the main roster.
I love Indy. Yeah,
I think she's great, and I think they brought the entire way over to Monday
I think
Night
that's
Raw.
why they did it, because the whole way is on Raw now officially.
Yeah, because they drafted Johnny Gargano after Monday Night Raw as well.
And Dexter's there, and
so, but yeah, I still just you had an opportunity to put that title on someone else, and now you're going to have another tournament to determine the NXT Women's Champion. And when you could have had Stratton or Roxanne Perez win it just last week, and you wouldn't be in this situation. But I don't know. I don't make the booking decisions. So
you don't? I thought we did. Well, no, we do for AEW. Never mind.
Yeah, they listen to our podcast. That's 100%. I'm totally behind that. But the draft was just. I didn't like. I also just didn't like that they didn't break up anybody, like you said. I don't like when they tease stuff and then they don't deliver. That's a big thing. They were teasing the whole time. Well, this could be the last time we ever see the Street Profits again, and then they were drafted. Oh, this could be the last time we see Solo Sikoa from the Bloodline as he tries to make his mark on Monday Night Raw, and then he's drafted with Roman. So, but kudos to Paul Heyman, because he was technically, if you want to get technical, Paul Heyman was the number one overall draft pick, and I think he deserves it.
I agree. Yeah, but it definitely started off weak. The draft definitely was not off to a bang on SmackDown. All right, now let's talk non-draft stuff.
Yeah, well, a little bit into the draft. AJ Styles is back, and because they drafted the entire OC, which I completely forgot all about those guys, to be honest with you, because ever since AJ's been gone with the broken ankle, we haven't seen or heard from Luke Gallows or Carl Anderson.
At all.
I don't even know Mitchin was still part of it, and I didn't even know they were still a thing. But I'm excited to have AJ Styles back. I think he can, and I'm glad that he's going to SmackDown. I think SmackDown's a good place for him. I think he can, if he can have some matches with Roman Reigns, I think they could have some bangers. I think he could have some
in the Bloodline.
Yeah. They had some feuds like earlier in the OC and the Judgment Day and the Blood. They took out the Bloodline as well, so they had some problems with each other when the Bloodline was going from show to show. And I'm excited to have AJ Styles back on Friday nights. I think that's where he belongs. It's the house that AJ Styles built. I hope they can play up that angle, because then he can say, well, to Roman that, hey, this is my house. I technically built this. You're just the champion. And I'm excited to see what they do with him. I hope that they give him a push, because I know he's kind of in the twilight of his career. And, I think that he deserves a little push before he hangs it up for good. I don't know how much longer he has in the ring, but I'm excited to see him back. I hope that they give I, I hope they give Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows something to do as well. I think they're a
Mhm.
solid team and a solid duo. I like them as a trio. I like them as a faction. So, yeah, but I'm really excited to see AJ Styles back on Friday Night SmackDown.
I agree, and it was odd because I like that they reintroduced them
Yeah,
the way they did because it worked, but it was also very casual. Like they were like, we dropped the OC, and then AJ Styles, like right after, like just came out and it was like, oh shoot, oh yeah, AJ Styles hasn't been here in
yeah,
forever. So it was casual. They dominated. AJ cut a good promo, but I did like it. It was done nicely for how casual it was. It felt important. They'll feel important on SmackDown. SmackDown only drafted like 20 people. So there's not a ton going on there. There's going to be a lot of room to grow and to shine. I like AJ versus Roman. I'm sure that's going to happen eventually, if not right away.
and they could revisit AJ versus Edge now. They could
Oh, so
revisit
much.
Bobby
Yeah.
Lashley and AJ Styles from
Oh, yeah.
their TNA
Yeah.
days. There's
Yeah.
so many things that they can do, and I'm excited to see it.
I agree. But when you see people like Edge, who says he still probably has another year left, it makes me disagree with you a little bit that AJ's in the twilight of his career because I think he might have 5, 6, 7 more
Yeah,
years. I mean,
maybe.
he looks good. He's still the high flyer. He hasn't had a boatload of injuries. I mean, not like Edge has. And
Yeah,
he's still a good spot. He's physically great in shape. I love AJ, man. I think we need him. I think he's the closest thing you can get almost of AEW when it comes to WWE, and I'm all for it, man. I'm glad to see the OC back, and I was definitely I love factions, and we need a
yeah,
couple more other than the
yeah,
Judgment Day and the Bloodline. So
yeah, and I do like how he returned. I like that
hmm
you didn't even know just the way they did it, how casual it was that you didn't
hmm
even know he had been off TV for 4 months. They announced him and then he just opens the door and out he walks and he cuts a promo while the Viking Raiders and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are brawling.
hmm
I hate the poor Viking Raiders. I think they have a cool entrance, but they can never win anything. They never
yeah,
do anything. They have a
hmm
cool look and a cool entrance song, and
they're
yeah,
good.
they're really good. But they're the enhancement talent now, and
Yeah,
they put everybody over, which is good for them. But yeah, I'm excited to have AJ back. I just think of all the scenarios. You could have AJ Styles and Austin Theory have a program with each other, and AJ and Edge, and AJ and Bobby
hmm
Lashley, AJ and Roman, AJ and Solo. I mean, there's so many options that they can go, and
hmm
yeah, I'm glad he's back, and I think SmackDown will be better because of it.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. All right, I want to talk about. I always got to talk about Judgment Day, so I'm going to talk about my girl Rhea Ripley. Um, and I been posting this on TikTok and I've gotten some flack, which I'm confused by, but maybe it's just because I'm so in love with Rhea Ripley and Selena Vega. But I am digging this feud. I like the David and Goliath feel. I like that Selena's not afraid. I know it's probably booked because of LWO and the Judgment Day beef or whatever, but that's fine. It's looked good. Selena can go in the ring. Rhea can go in the ring. It always looks good when a powerful wrestler dominates a high flyer little wrestler, Rey Mysterio versus insert anybody. And they're great matches. So I'm all for it. Selena got a good win against Sonya Deville. Wasn't the best match, but she got a good win. Rhea comes out to whoop some butt, and Selena gets the upper hand. And I loved it. I loved seeing her get the upper hand. Once again, we talk about this with Jade Cargill and others that you got to have that belief that an upset can happen. We have that. Afterwards, Selena was with the LWO and they were like, Rey Mysterio said, you're taking that belt in Puerto Rico. You got this. It's not going to happen, but it probably won't be a squash match. Selena Vega's awesome. Rhea's awesome. I'm all for this. I think this is a fantastic Rhea Ripley first match. Who else was she really going to wrestle? Selena deserves better. She was the queen of the ring, and then they basically just got rid of her. I know she got injured, and then she blew up my TikTok forever. But other than that, she hasn't done much, and now she's back in the LWO. I'm all for it. What say you? Are you digging this? Are you looking forward to it at Backlash? I mean, we obviously know who's going to win, but I'm all for it. I mean,
Yeah,
Selena's the wrestling love of my life minus Trish Stratus. So,
yeah, and I think I'm excited for the match. I think it's one of the few matches that has been properly built going
mm-hmm.
into Backlash, and I'm excited for Zelina to get the opportunity. I think we know the outcome already, but again, I think this isn't really will Zelina Vega win? I think it's where does she go after this match? Does this catapult her into that upper stratosphere of the women's main event picture? And I think it could. I think it could. I think she would do great. In that women's main, like she could go after the women's championship again. This doesn't have to be her only soiree into that area. I think there's so many. I think this could open a lot of doors for Zelina Vega, and I think this can get a lot of eyes on Zelina Vega, and people start. I know she got hurt, but maybe people don't really know her all that much because they don't really know her character all that well. But this is an opportunity for her to really shine and get hers. I don't think she's going to. I know she's not going to win. Spoiler alert, but I don't think she's going to beat Rhea Ripley in her first title defense post WrestleMania in Puerto Rico. But I think this is an opportunity to showcase what she can really do, and I think this is going to help Triple H really put a spotlight on Zelina Vega as head of creative.
Yeah, and I like too because I saw people saying that Zelina's too small and yada yada. Do we not remember Alexa Bliss? That girl was a dominant champion for a few times, and she never looked like she was going to lose. She has to be about the same size as Zelina Vega. They can't be taller than each other. Zelina Vega greater than Trish Stratus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, B-roll. I see that.
I mean, I'm all for me, Selena, Trish, and Rhea just trying to figure it out and seeing who's better at things. I feel like the end of this match will be very erotic. Oh, 100%. She's going to powerbomb her. She's going to put her legs over her head and pin her and do a couple pumps, and it's going to be all sorts of wonderful goodness.
I can't
Maybe
wait.
Selena will come out of her top in Puerto Rico. But anyway, yes, it's going to be a great match nonetheless, even if we don't see boobies. But yes, I'm all for it. I do think it's going to be a great match. I think Rhea's strength and Selena's high flying is going to match up well. And I think there's going to be a lot of close near falls where the Puerto Rican crowd is going to assume that Selena's going to go home the victor. So I think it's going to be good stuff. I don't think it'll be a squash.
No, not at all. I think she'll get some offense in. I don't think Rhea Ripley will allow it to be a squash. She put over at that post Royal Rumble press conference. She put over Liv Morgan in a huge way where she said that, yeah, I know I won at number 1, but let's give some props to Liv Morgan for going in at number 2 and also being the last one eliminated. She lasted over an hour too. So I think Rhea understands the importance of uplifting other people and building other people up. And I think this is an opportunity for Zelina to shine in her hometown. And I think she's going to get some offense in. I don't think it's going to be a squash match whatsoever.
No, me neither. Let's go. I'm excited. Yeah. Although we have predictions at the end of the show, but I guess we already gave one of them, but we'll redo it later.
We'll give it. Yeah, we'll do it again for those who tune in later.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the other thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown besides the draft, and that's the Usos versus KO and Sami Zayn in the WrestleMania 39 main event rematch on SmackDown.
WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania goes Hollywood. Rematch.
You were there live, my man. You know there was no 39 anywhere to be seen.
There was no 39. It was WrestleMania goes Hollywood. WrestleMania goes Hollywood night 1 main event rematch. Bloodline versus KO and Sami. They opened up the show, and the Bloodline or the Kevin Owens and Sami confronted the Usos. The Usos were out there doing their normal shtick. And KO and Sami came out, and which this is another thing that I found weird about the draft. Were the wrestlers not informed of who was eligible? Because I thought it was weird that Sami Zayn was like, "Don't you guys find it weird that you weren't drafted with Solo and Roman? Did you not find that weird?" And it was like, but they're on the Raw draft, so I feel like they weren't eligible to be drafted with Roman and Solo on. But I think his bigger point was, why weren't you all together? And it was just planting the seed, planting the divide in the bloodline. And then, Jimmy continues to bring up the good point that Kevin Owens could turn on you at any minute too, if you guys, especially if you lose, because Kevin Owens has a tendency to do that. He did it to Jericho. He did it to the New Day. He's done it to so many people.
Jericho, what a great friendship.
The Festival of Friendship, one of my favorite segments ever.
Gosh, so good.
And that should have made, I think Jericho, you say what you want about him, but he was right when he said that match should have been one of the main events of WrestleMania, either the first match or the last match. And the fact that they put it
for the title too,
and they took the title off of KO and put it on Goldberg because they wanted that to be, Anyway, that's another discussion for another day. But no, I thought this match, it didn't quite hit the same way that the WrestleMania match did. but I loved it. I thought it was a great match. The crowd was into it. The nuances that they're doing with the bloodline, where Paul Heyman looks like he's taking a phone call in the middle of the match, and is he calling Roman Reigns to kind of give a status update, or is he calling for Solo to come out? I don't know, but Solo came out, and it looked like they were gonna. The same thing was gonna end the exact same way. The interference from the bloodline, Solo helps them win. That's really what I thought. I was like, oh, okay, Solo may actually help these guys win. And I forgot about Riddle, the Riddle factor there for a second. Riddle came running out before Solo could do anything, took him out, and they fought backstage, and then it set up the finish where KO and Sami get the win over the Usos again. So yeah, I like the dissension. I like the teasing of the bloodline potentially having drama. Now we'll get into this on Raw, but again, they teased, could the Usos be separated from the bloodline on Monday Night Raw
we'll find out
in their part of the draft. And that was a big part of the story. Are they going to be separated? Are they going to be separated? Are they going to be split? And yeah, we'll find out on Monday Night Raw when we talk about it. But I thought the match itself was good. Like I said, it didn't quite hit the same way the WrestleMania main event night one hit. But I think the bloodline story, I said a few weeks ago that I thought it was starting to fizzle out a little bit. I think they still need Roman Reigns back in a huge way. But I think it's starting to pick up steam a little bit now. Now that we know that they're all going to be together, we know what's going to happen with the draft. Now that we kind of have the roster set, I think that I like that KO and Sami are still planting those seeds of dissension in the bloodline and everything. So I'm excited to see where it goes, but they desperately need Roman back in a big way.
I agree with you on everything except. Okay, so I knew the outcome of this match. I didn't think there was any chance the Usos were winning.
Well, yeah, I didn't think
but they did. No. I'm not saying that's what you said, but I wanted to say because of that, I am bored of them all wrestling each other. So I think I like now that Paul Heyman is talking to Roman on the phone. He did it on SmackDown and Raw, I believe. He's having Solo be that person who is obviously going to betray the Usos, which in the end, he will betray Roman. I'll put money on it right now, but they're making it seem like, so I like that intrigue because now we're once again the arc. So I do agree with you there. The bloodline storyline's getting good there because now we're getting the arc again as when is Solo going to turn? Is he going to? Because obviously Solo didn't help. He's disappointed at the end of the loss. He was shaking his head in disgust. They didn't do things on Raw. I mean, obviously we're getting that Solo is being told by Roman to keep them in line and it's not working. So Solo's getting upset. And obviously the plan is for him to turn. But with that said, we can do all this without them still. We don't need Riddle wrestling somebody from the bloodline every week. I'm sick of seeing that them and the Usos and have them talk backstage, but have them wrestle other people. We need to branch off from them wrestling. Kind of like, we had Ray and Dom all the time. And then as soon as Ray left, the feud got better because they were on different brands and they could talk about each other without having to we don't have to wrestle every week. Like that's the only thing I'm bored of with this storyline is that we need to move on from them wrestling each other. Let's get over that. Yeah. We can continue this feud and bickering with them doing. Let's get Sami and KO with the wrestling another tag team, maybe the Street Profits or not the Street Profits, but somebody or anybody else. But have them actually they can. Well, we'll get there. But anyway, having them I just want them to, I don't know, kind of branch off and wrestle somebody else. So that's what I'm excited for. But other than that, we can keep everything else going. And we do need Roman back. You were right about that. Without Roman, 100%. It's getting stale. And we also need Roman. Roman needs to come back he's going to have a busy damn night. I don't know how much he's going to talk, but he needs to talk about the fake title. He needs to talk about his titles. He needs to talk about the 1,000 Day and who he's going to wrestle. He needs to talk about what's going on with the Usos. He needs to talk about his Solo is dude. He needs to talk about the bloodline. He needs he's been gone for so long now. He's got a lot of making. I mean, shoot, when was the last time you were in Cali? That's the last time we saw him. So he ain't been around in a minute. So that's been a while. So, but yeah, with that said, let's move on to Raw because we got a lot going on and now we got to finish all these storylines. So I'm going to do the draft again. So on SmackDown got to go first. On Raw gets to go first. Number one pick, which I'm all for. And I thought this draft was 1,000 times better, although I thought some picks were a little iffy. Rhea Ripley with number one for Raw. Raw got then Seth Rollins. They got the tag team champions, Sami and KO. They got the Judgment Day, so now they officially have all of the Judgment Day. So they got everybody else to go with Rhea. They got the other tag team champions, Liv and Raquel. They got the New Day minus Big E, which I thought was interesting. Even though I know he's injured or whatever, is he not in the new? I would assume he would have just been a part of it. And they didn't say if he was a free agent or not. They got the sexiest woman alive, Trish Stratus. They got Ronda and Shayna, which makes sense because they're probably next for the tag team titles. They got Strowman and Ricochet. They got Bronson Reed, who I thought went way too early. They got the Alpha Academy. And then they took Chance and Carter, the former NXT champs. So pretty good draft for Raw. SmackDown, which I really, really like. Number one with Austin Theory. I love that they did that. They're really building Austin Theory as somebody important after beating Cena, being the champ. I love it. And I think Austin will shine on SmackDown. Maybe he'll get some comeuppance against Roman one day. Then they got Charlotte. So they picked Austin and Charlotte before they picked the Usos, who went number 3 on SmackDown, which I thought was weird. So the Usos are now with the Bloodline officially. They got the LWO, so they got all 48 members. They got Asuka, so good pick. They got the Brawlin' Brutes, which I like. And then in the same pick, they decided to get the 2 people who need to be pushed, who we've been talking about, who have had no push whatsoever, Karrion Kross and LA Knight. So I think I really like that. Shotzi got picked up. Okay. Pretty Deadly from NXT. Great pickup. I like that. Then they picked up your boy, Rick Boogs got drafted. I wouldn't even talk about the people who weren't drafted, but they picked up Rick Boogs.
Yeah,
Rick Boogs.
The Boogster.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last pick was Cameron Grimes, who I said would get drafted over. So once again, so with that said, some notable free agents. Omos, rumor has it he's a free agent because they want him to challenge for the title, like you said, and at Night of Champions, and that's why. So that way, then he can float around. Brock Lesnar. Let's see. I'm trying to go off memory. Who else was a free agent? Elias. Oh yeah, Rick Boogs got picked over Elias, obviously, because Elias said he would be a top pick. My boy Baron Corbin is a free agent. Dolph Ziggler's a free agent. Like, these people got picked after Rick Boogs and after like Bronson. It blows my mind. So there were also picks that were made after each of these shows. So I have a list right here just in case a few of the people who got picked afterwards. Some notable names just so we can talk about it. We got Indus Sher. So Jinder Mahal and all them are coming to Raw. Johnny Gargano, as we talked about. Nikki Cross. Piper Niven went to Raw. Riddick Moss. So I guess that's his new name. It's no longer Madcap Moss. He's Riddick Moss now. Okay. And on SmackDown, the only real notable was Grayson Waller, which I thought was a waste that they picked up Pretty Deadly and other people, but didn't do Grayson Waller, who's been really over right now. So he's on SmackDown. Oh, here's some free agents. These people got drafted to free agency. Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Von Wagner, Omos, and MVP are free agents. And okay, that looks about it, or around there. Yeah. So, and then there's some left out people who were not even mentioned whatsoever. So I'm assuming they're free agents, or maybe they'll just show up one day. Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss, and Logan Paul. So those were 3 names that were kind of, and I am surprised about Logan Paul. I thought he would get drafted.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. Bum, bum, bum. Is that a reason? Are they going to come back together? So with this draft, minus that, I thought this was a way better draft than on SmackDown. I thought the picks went well. Once again, I really don't have any complaints. I really like it all. The only thing is once again, it was like obvious, right? Like Judgment Day went, then the LWO went. Like, okay, same picks. Like, you know what I mean? They were doing that again. The only thing is, and what I want to ask you to talk about with these drafts is, one, Rhea and Bianca. Are they going to do the stupid belt swap thing? Are they going to lose them, which I don't see happening for either of them? Are they going to wrestle for the Undisputed? But with the Undisputed said, both tag team champions, men's and women's, went to Raw. Correct? Yes, they both went to Raw. So does SmackDown, who has tag teams, they have a lot of tag teams, Are they out of the tag team title picture? Do they not have a tag team titles? Are we going to create one now? What's happening? That was my biggest concern with the draft, minus what I said earlier with NXT not
Yeah.
picking up good people, like, just leaving them out for whatever reason. But so what's going on? What are we doing here? Are they getting their own new tag team titles? Are we doing a belt swap? Are we going to unify the belts? What's happening here?
Yeah, this is when I wish that Triple H would explain things a little bit more, because you're still calling them the undisputed tag team champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but then you draft them to Raw. So are they going to be going from brand to brand? Are they going to be, because they have both the Raw and SmackDown tag team championships. So you would think, oh, they're going to go brand hopping, but apparently not. So
why wouldn't they be free agents? Like, out of all the free agents, why wouldn't they be free agents?
Yeah, it would make sense because they have the belts for both. But I'm thinking that they're going to do what they're going to do with Roman Reigns, call them the undisputed tag team champions, and keep them on Raw only. And then I think they're going to create a new set of tag team championships for SmackDown, and have them also won at Night of Champions.
Same thing with Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, I think so. And Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia, and we know that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn don't go to Saudi Arabia. So it could still be an opportunity to get those new tag team championships defended. And then, they could play the angle of KO and Sami are watching, or maybe they, I don't know, do a stare down on Monday Night Raw or something, or they do something where they kind of pass the torch to the SmackDown tag team champions, or I don't know. But I think those titles are also in need of an overhaul. I think I'm not really a big fan of the way those titles look. So I'm excited to see what happens with them. So I do wish that they would have explained how you got to be a free agent, because Brock negotiated his way to being a free agent, which Triple H even said. And I think they said the same thing about Omos too, that MVP negotiated it on his behalf. But then Elias is drafted as a free agent, and Dolph Ziggler is selected as a free agent. And I'm like, okay, well, what does this mean? Do they get to go from brand to brand? Or if they go to Raw, are they then officially a member of the Raw brand?
Forever? Yeah.
Like, I just wish that they would have explained some stuff before they actually did this draft. I feel like this draft maybe needed another week to kind of fine tune some things and tweak some things, and then do it like this coming week instead, after Backlash, and kind of have a new start and a new direction going forward to all these other pay-per-views. But I don't know. The big thing for me in this draft, the one thing I was laughing when you said it, but Pretty Deadly getting drafted. Like, I was excited for him.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, I was so happy for them, and
we talked about it.
Yeah, but they got buried. They literally got like their bodies thrown
into the water.
Yeah, they got thrown into the water the week before on NXT TV. And the guys that did it, their names are escaping me now, but the people that
Tony
did
D, man, Tony D.
That's right, Tony D. And Scripps, is that the other one that did?
No, Scripps is the guy with the mask. No, Tony D's dude. I forgot Tony D's right hand man. I forgot his name, but
but anyway,
Tony D'Angelo,
they threw him in the water, and then they took care of the problem. That's what they were talking to on the phone. And then they get drafted, and you see Pretty Deadly right there in the.
They were in the room.
They're clapping. They're excited. Everyone's hugging them. I'm like, wait, I thought they just got buried. I thought they just got thrown into the river. Like, I thought they were dead. I guess hence the name, but more like Pretty Dead instead of Pretty Deadly, right? Hi-oh. But yeah, it was just like, these guys they're alive. Like, what is going on right now? I don't understand this. And that was another thing too, with like, I felt like there was a lot of character breaking in this draft as well.
You can talk about Grayson Waller.
Yeah, because like Grayson Waller is the biggest heel on the show, and Indy Hartwell gets drafted, and he's like there right beside her, hugging her. And
are they dating in real life?
No, she's dating she's dating another female.
She's that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because he was like hugging her so much. I was like, oh, are they dating? They were like, he was like
both
all
from Australia.
in love.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're like friends. Okay.
Yeah, they're both from Australia. But
yeah, I knew. Okay.
But yeah, he's like the biggest heel on the roster that they have, and yeah, and it
was a weird moment. Yeah,
he's clapping for her, and yeah, I mean, it was like, it is. I mean, it's fine. I get like you're excited about the draft, but I don't know. You wouldn't see. I don't think you would see. I mean, you saw Dom walk out of Rey Mysterio's Hall of Fame press conference or Hall of Fame
When it's
announcement.
on TV, stay in character. Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't see MJF doing that. You
No.
wouldn't see Dominic doing that. So those were the two moments for me. But no, for the most part, I think this whole draft was much ado about nothing. That was my big takeaway. There's a lot more questions than we have answers, and much ado about nothing, because the whole story after and I talked about it with the Sami Zayn stuff, but the whole story after SmackDown was, could the Usos be separated from the bloodline? Could they be going their own way? No. And they just nonchalantly drafted the Usos, and then that was it. Okay, they're going to SmackDown.
Yeah, no build, no threat. No, yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I would have, playing fantasy booker, I would have made them the last pick, and maybe have Paul Heyman be one of the pickers of that. And he says that the tribal chief has negotiated that the Usos come with him, but he is watching them closely. Something to give them some build. But yeah, it was just like they were like the third pick of the third round, and like it was just like nonchalant. Okay, yeah, they're on SmackDown, and like all questions were answered. But I don't know. It was just after you built it up as they could be separated. It was the big story. That's the whole point of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's promo on Friday, was that the bloodline could be separated. And then they weren't, and then they didn't touch it. They didn't talk about it ever again. It was kind of weird. But it was much ado about nothing. Nobody broke up. Really nothing. No big names are coming back. No big surprises. Nothing. Just, the rosters are set, and hopefully this gives them some good material going forward, because I think it's been needed for a while. They need to have a little bit of a reset.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, too, is that the draft only lasts a year, and then we do this all over again. That's why I don't like the draft. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't need
I also wonder
for 1 year.
I also wonder too how long this one will actually last before they just decide.
Oh,
let's have a superstar shakeup, and right after Money in the Bank, right before SummerSlam, and completely hijack everything. But don't
forget too that people like Cody Rhodes can end up on SmackDown through Money in the Bank and Royal Rumble winning. Because when you get that, you're automatically allowed to go where you want, so you can switch brands and challenge whoever you dream. So
and one thing about Cody that I was thinking about, a lot of people are saying that he shouldn't win the World Heavyweight Championship, but what if he does, and then we get Cody versus Roman 2 at Survivor Series, because they do champion versus champion, and Roman gets frustrated or something and costs himself, disqualifies himself or something. And I don't know. I'm just throwing that
leads
out
to
there.
Mania. Yeah. Roman's keeping that belt forever. They created a new belt so Roman can continue on beating everybody on SmackDown. So he'll beat Drew again.
He should. Yeah.
I agree. All right. What else happened on Raw?
Oh man. I want to talk about Seth Rollins and his match with Omos that we both talked before the show. We completely forgot about and didn't even know was happening on Saturday, because there has been no build for this match whatsoever. There's no reason for me to be excited. And Paul Heyman comes out and opens up Monday Night Raw, and he talks about the World Heavyweight Championship. And I love that he mentioned the fact that that belt would look good around Roman Reigns' waist, and that he would bring immediate relevance to that championship, because it would, and he would do both. He would bring relevance to it, and it would look great around his waist.
Imagine him winning it.
I wouldn't put it past him.
He then said he wasn't eligible, but yes, but I did like that too. Yeah.
But then Seth Rollins came out, and Seth Rollins cut a promo, basically just crapping all over Roman Reigns and saying that he's here to fight, he's here to be a fighting champion. That's his title. No one's touching it. And it was a cool stuff. And he was talking about how the audience is going to sing his song and blah 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 blah, and his typical Seth Rollins shtick, which I love. I love it all. And then it sets up a match between Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa for later in the night. Then we get to that match, and I'm thinking, okay, any minute now, Omos is going to come out. Omos is going to come out, and Seth is going to be distracted by the Nigerian giant just standing in his presence, and Solo's going to scoop him up for a quick 1, 2, 3, and that's how Solo wins. And but no, there's no Omos, nothing. Omos didn't even know he had a squash match earlier in the night against Alanis, some guy who looked just like Seth freaking Rollins, but he wasn't quite Seth Rollins. And then commentators talked about it a little bit, but there was just no on-screen interaction between the two. Instead, we get Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle coming out and fighting off the Usos, and they're all fighting as Raw goes off the air, and it's just okay. So Seth Rollins is now, we have a Seth Rollins problem in the bloodline, and there's nothing with Omos, and I don't know. It's hard for me to get excited about this match on Saturday at Backlash when there's really no build for it whatsoever. And I thought they missed an opportunity to have Omos come out and make his presence known, even stare down the bloodlines, show Solo that, I'm not afraid of you. And like, I could come to your brand and beat you down too. And, it could have been a cool moment and an opportunity to put Omos over. And I feel like they completely missed it. And yeah, instead they just kept him off screen and Seth did his thing in the main event. And it makes me wonder if they're going to pivot and they're not going to do Cody versus Roman again. And maybe they'll do Seth versus Roman. If it all leads to that. And I wouldn't mind seeing that. Maybe that's the match at Survivor Series. I don't know. But I wouldn't mind seeing Seth versus Roman because I think they have better chemistry and I think they have a better story than Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. I mean, Seth's got to win that title at the end. He's going to beat Omos. And I agree with you. This thing was stupid. I don't even know why they're wrestling. It was random that they're wrestling together and they're not pushing it whatsoever. And if Seth beats Omos, what does that do for Omos? Back-to-back losses? What are we doing here? He's a free agent and he's going to wrestle Roman for the title after losing to Seth. If he does, we'll get into predictions. But I'm very confused by all of it. I'm just like you. But Seth needs to win the belt. I do got to say, though, is when Omos was wrestling Alanis, Corey Graves had a great line where he did like an Alanis Morissette line from his song Ironic when he like got power bombed into like the ground and he did like a funny line. I forgot to write it down. I forgot what part of the song he did. Oh, yeah. He said, whoa, that was like having 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, why did he say that? And then they were like, I was like, oh, his name's Alanis Morissette. So great stuff. But other than that, yeah, I'm not. It's whack. I don't even know why Seth and Omos are both wasting their time on this match because it's pointless. And I'm reading all over the internet that I'm wrong, that Seth is going to give Omos the best match of his career. I don't buy it. I don't think Omos is there. I saw an Omos interview recently, and he seems like a really nice guy. I want nothing but the best for him. Hopefully he can become that person soon. But sometimes when you're a big man, Vince and them push you way too soon, and then you end up becoming irrelevant. So hopefully it doesn't happen to him. His Brock match was a squash. I think this Seth match will pretty much be a squash, or Brock will interfere and cost Seth the match. But we can go into predictions later. But it's just, I don't know. I just don't see the point of it. And the push has been atrocious. Like you said, we didn't even know it was happening and they didn't even talk about it. So stupid. But to bring up something that isn't stupid, I want to talk about the greatest heel in the game today. No, I'm not. And I'm not about Dominic.
I think we lost you there.
Judgment Day comes out. I'm talking.
Yep. I think you're back. Try now. Yeah. Well, now I can't hear you, but. Oh, wait. There you go.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, you're back.
All right, we're live. We're back. All right, Dominic Mysterio. I'm going to talk about the biggest heel in the business, Dominic Mysterio. Judgment Day came out. They cut a promo, and everybody got to talk. They had it was a great promo from all of them. I felt like they felt important. They're going to challenge the LWO tonight. They meant business, and it was time for Dominic Mysterio to talk. And if you have not seen this, do me a favor, go back, watch Raw, and you texted me about this promo. You were like, are you watching Raw right now? Because you're going to have some TikTok Dom fan club material, because this was I have not seen, people are comparing it to Vicky. Vicky didn't have heat like this, and she had heat. This is like, he grabbed the mic and they were booing him. And the thing that I love about it is that he knows how to do it. He baited them. He baited them, and then he just talked through them. which made it all the much better because you got to see how much he was being booed. And I've seen online, oh, that's not heat. That's I hate you and nobody likes him heat. No, thank you.
That's heat,
that's called,
bro. Yeah.
Just so you know, if people hate you, it's called X-Pac heat. So for anyone who's not a true wrestling fan, look up X-Pac heat. That is when you walk out to silence. If people do not like you, they do not react. You do not get heat like that unless you are over. He is the most over heel in the business easily today. Roman does not get booed like that. Roman gets cheered. Roman gets cheered. You don't see, other than me, you ain't never seen anybody dress up as Dominic Mysterio or cheer for him. Roman has people, little kids dressed as him.
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio couldn't even get lines out. He got booed through his entire thing. He was laughing. Judgment Day was laughing because it was unreal how much heat he was getting. It was not piped in. You can see the crowd. That was real flipping heat. The announcers were reacting to it. They were reacting to it. It was, I'm telling you, rewatch it. That's some Texas crowd was live to begin with. They were live, but holy cow, was that some heat. And then on top of it, Judgment Day got a damn good win. They got a win. They beat the LWO. I loved it. I'm hoping that's where they're going. I'm hoping we're going to have a Judgment Day sweep with Priest winning and with Rhea winning at Backlash, and we can continue this on. I do fear of what Dom Dom's going to do once they're not, because the LWO and then went to different places. So is Dom Dom still going to get that heat, even though he doesn't have his dad anymore? I think he will, because I think he's that damn good. But we shall see. But what say you? I mean, what was that? That was – it was like – it was – oh, and I also got to say, Rhea made a line where she said, I always am on top. And they cut to Dominic. And when she said, I'm always on top, Dom Dom was like, ooh, like he was like, yeah, she is. So, you're about to get kicked out. No, it was good stuff. It was a good line. I just love it all, everything about it. But Dom Dom for president, man, he is the man.
Yeah, no, I loved it all. It was one of the most incredible things I've seen, and I agree with you. I don't think it was piped in. I don't think it was. I think it was real, true heat that even MJF gets people cheering. I mean, he had a whole Long Island thing dedicated to him a few weeks ago on AEW. And Roman Reigns, I mean, we were at WrestleMania. I would say about maybe 60-40 that crowd was in favor of Cody Rhodes, and people were throwing the ones up with Roman Reigns. No, if Dominic said to acknowledge him, nobody would throw the ones up.
Except me.
Nobody. Yeah, except you. Yeah, nobody would, because the people just hate him that much. And it's incredible to see. And I love this transformation that they're doing with Dominic Mysterio, that he kind of went from the babyface who was kind of lost in the shuffle, didn't really know what angle to go, what direction to go in, to now he's like the most over heel in all of wrestling. And I'm loving it, man. It was incredible. I think Judgment Day suits him right. I love the commentary because you were right. The commentary team played off of it, and Corey Graves is a gem on commentary. He's phenomenal.
Thank you. He's getting good, is he not? I don't know why he gets hate. Yeah.
He was throwing some lines like, they're so rude here in Texas. Just little things like that, and he threw that out there, and then the rest of Judgment Day helping him, telling him, hey, let Dominic speak, let him like Finn Balor out there trying to cut a promo and telling him to ease up. I mean, it was all phenomenal stuff. It was great stuff. I'm glad to see this for Dominic. I am curious to see, though, what happens, like you said, with him now that Ray's out of the picture and Ray's on a different brand. But I am glad that the Judgment Day is still together, and I'm glad that they're separated from like the OC and the Bloodline as well, that they can kind of do their own thing on Monday Night Raw and be the faction that runs Raw. And hopefully they turn this around and they start winning some matches. But I would love to see Dominic maybe win a mid-card title, or him and Finn Balor or somebody win the tag team championships off of KO and Sami, or maybe that's where they go next. They go after KO and Sami for the tag belts, and he gets more heat that way because Sami's one of the most over baby faces in the industry. Yeah. So I am excited, and I love this segment. I thought it was great. He couldn't get a word in. It reminded me of that night after WrestleMania. I've said this before about Dom Dom, but it keeps getting better. But that night after WrestleMania, when Roman Reigns had he was getting booed out of the building when he just after he beat the Undertaker, and he just said, "This is my yard now." But before he could even talk, the fans were booing him, and this reminded me a lot of that. Just that true "I hate you" type heat. But yeah, it was phenomenal. I loved it.
I agree. All right. What's the last thing you dug on Raw or didn't dig?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
I don't care about this match at Backlash. I really don't. I don't know. This match to me just feels thrown together, and we still don't know why they're fighting in the first place. They haven't really explained why Brock turned on Cody at the night after WrestleMania. They played that, excuse me, but they played the angle that Brock was unhappy with his placement of the on the WrestleMania card, but then they never revisited it. And then they played up the angle too that Paul Heyman had something to do with it, and he paid Brock off to take Cody out so he wouldn't have to, so Roman would have one less problem to worry about. But then they never revisited it. They were interviewing Paul Heyman like 3 weeks in a row. Did you have anything to do with this? And he kept dodging the question. And then they haven't touched it since. They haven't talked about it since. So now we have no idea why these guys are fighting. And Cody Rhodes or Brock Lesnar, he interrupted the draft. So we had Shawn Michaels and Adam Pearce do the picking for the fourth round of the draft.
Yeah.
And also I thought when Shawn Michaels came out, I thought that's when we were getting NXT call-ups, but we didn't get any that round.
No.
But yeah, and then Brock Lesnar just walked out, cut off Adam Pearce before he could say anything, and walked right to the ring. And he had his Undertaker trench coat on again, and had his cowboy hat. And I liked his little promo where he said, "How does it feel to be the only cowboy in the state, in the presence of the only cowboy in the state of Texas?" I thought that was a cool line. And before he could say anything else, there's Cody Rhodes, his music hits, and of course Brock Lesnar's looking at the entrance ramp and looking down at the Titantron. And I don't understand why wrestlers always do that. And then Cody Rhodes comes in from behind and takes him out, and they start.
He busted him open.
Yeah, he busted him open. He got a good punch in. Yeah, that's not going to be good.
I'd be nervous when I went backstage after that one.
Go ask Braun Strowman. Wait until Saturday. But no, and then they're all fighting off security people. It's the same angle that they did a few weeks ago. This time it's just both of them. They're being held back and being restrained by all the security guards. And Adam Pearce is out there saying, Brock, I'm not going to let you do this. I'm not going to allow this to happen. And he allows it to happen, and it goes on anyway. I don't know. This match has just been like, I'm excited for it, I guess, but I don't feel like I should have a reason to be excited about it. And I just feel like the build for it has been kind of disappointing. And, the big thing I want to know is why are they fighting? And they haven't talked about it, and they probably won't ever talk about it because Cody will probably move on to something else after this, and Brock will move on to something else, and they'll never find out why Brock turned on him. So I don't know. That's just that was the one thing.
Yeah, because they have nothing to do on that awful Raw we went to. That's where it all started. I don't want to go into predictions of what I think is happening, so we're about to do that soon. But yeah, I'm not digging it either. I think it's been stupid. I mean, I'm glad Cody got his licks in, but it was one punch, and then that was it. And
that was it. Yeah.
It was, it's been very uneventful. And why would Brock Lesnar be afraid of Cody? It looks like he is like timid, and he doesn't want to step in against the American Nightmare. I get why they're doing that, but I mean, when you're a legitimate wrestler, it doesn't matter how big of your opponent it is. You know what I mean? Like we should believe that Cody could beat anyone in the WWE, no matter how big or small. So we already have that going for us. We don't need Brock to pretend he's scared or, afraid to, lock horns with him. But I agree with you too. There's been no explanation. And they even talked, once again, another thing the WWE teased. They said, what's the reason? Is it because, he got the bigger card on his main card at WrestleMania, or he went higher than him and blah, blah, blah. And then they never talked about it. So why bring it up if you're never going to bring it up again?
Exactly.
So, yeah. It's stupid.
Yeah. And Cody got drafted number 1 overall to Raw too. So I'm sure Brock, being a free agent, that's got to frustrate him. I don't know. It's just stupid. Don't talk about it if you're not going to follow up on it. But
I agree. Yeah. I agree. But that's going to lead us into Backlash. Before we get to Backlash, let's talk about NXT right quick. NXT, they lost a lot of people, a lot of big people. What I want to talk about is the women's champs. So, and we'll do this briefly. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defended their titles against Chance and Carter. They won. And basically, they announced beforehand that if they won, they are taking their titles to SmackDown, where they are going to defend them on SmackDown. And the announcers said multiple times that this was the last time we'll ever see them on NXT. Once again, Why say things if it's not true? For one, you're not going to defend the NXT Women's Championships on a WWE SmackDown. That makes no sense. This is an AEW. Secondly, you're going to have to defend those titles again or relinquish them. And they didn't relinquish them. So you're going to be on NXT again. So why even? It was just a very stupid. And then the Chance and Carter were like, "We'll win and stay on NXT and defend them." And I was like, "Huh?" And so I don't know if they have a plan because they made the point to say that the two teams had different opinions. But I'm all for Alba Fire and Aladon. I like them. I think they're a good tag team. I think they can help the SmackDown division. But what the heck is going on with these belts? And then secondly, we had Indy Hartwell come out at the end of the show. Dexter was there again, Loomis, and she talked about the way she cut a great promo. She looked phenomenal, and she relinquished the title, but she didn't say because of injury or because she got drafted. She basically just said, I relinquished, well, kind of injury, but basically she said, I care about this title too much. I love NXT. It needs to be defended, so it's going to be held up for a tournament. So one champions are keeping them, the other one's relinquishing. It was kind of like a mixed bag on NXT. The women's tournament, I'm very excited for. I still think the women's division, even with the surfer girl, what's her name?
What's her?
Luca, Rico. God, why am I forgetting her name? I love her.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's injured, but even with that said, we still got a lot of talent in the women's division. I just want to say right now, with talking about this, that if it's not Cora Jade winning this belt, Shawn Michaels, you're my goat, my dude, love of my life. If you do, that I cut again, you're crazy. I'm saying Cora Jade in the tournament. Am I still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but you're still there.
Can you hear me? Did I lose you again? Okay. Yeah. All right. So I said Cora Jade needs to win that women's tournament. She's the most over wrestler. She deserves it, and she's a heel, and you need to have a heel kind of carry that torch. Unless you're going to give it to JC Jane, who got a good win against Gigi Dolan, but that match was kind of whack too. But anyway, what say you? What did you think about these champs? What are we doing here, and who should win that tournament if you have anybody?
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton?
I'm not going to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried about NXT because they're thin now. They lost like all the people that we thought were going to be drafted to Raw and SmackDown didn't get drafted, and all the people that we didn't think were going to be drafted, the champions, got drafted. And so, but I'm a little worried about NXT. Obviously Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker weren't selected, but I really thought, but you drafted one of the true tag teams that you have to the roster for to the main roster. Grayson Waller's gone. JD McDonough got drafted.
And he's so good.
Yeah, there's so many like talented people that got drafted. So now I'm a little worried about, after Braun, who's the biggest heel in NXT? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
There's so many. But I will say that they are deep in the women's division. There's a lot of talented women out there that could carry the torch. But it does feel, I don't know. I was, like I said earlier, it just felt that they should have never called that audible that they had. They put themselves into this situation when they put they let Indy Hartwell retain, knowing that she was going to be called up. They could have put it on Tiffany Stratton already. They could have put it on somebody else before, or put it back on Roxanne Perez instead. But now we're going to have a tournament, and it's going to be crowned the week of Night of Champions, the 28th or something at the what's the pay-per-view? Unforgiven or
no, it's not Unforgiven.
It's not. What's the name of the event? Everything's escaping me. But no, I think I think it should be Cora Jade. Cora Jade should lead carry the women's division. Or I wouldn't hate Tiffany Stratton either. I think both of those women are good, but Tiffany Stratton had her chance and she lost it. So now I think Cora Jade needs her opportunity to shine and carry the load for the women's division. Or they go get my girl Mandy Rose and bring her back and let her reclaim the title that she never lost. And
it's a good time to bring her back.
Yeah, let her run the women's division and do her thing again. And bring back Toxic Attraction.
I like it. I'm wearing the hat right now. I like it. All right. Anything from NXT popped up?
Yeah, I want to give props to Trick Williams, man. I think he's getting some praise. He's getting a big a somewhat of a push. I know he's
Mhm.
Carmelo Hayes' right hand man, and I did like that he made he made reference to in his promo that Melo don't miss, but when he does, I'm there to grab the rebound. I love that line. I thought that was
Uh-huh.
a cool line. Um, and yeah, I think he is. Him and Braun Breaker are going to have a great match. I think that's
Mhm.
next week on NXT, so that should be
Yep.
a fun match. And I think it's a good way to get Trick Williams some shine too. And because I do feel he's got a great look. He can go in the ring. He's no slouch in the ring at all. And I do kind of feel like he's been kind of pushed aside a little bit because of with the rise of Carmelo Hayes, which Carmelo Hayes deserves it. Don't get me wrong. But now I think it's time that we give Trick Williams some credit, some praise, and I'm glad that NXT has given him his due. And I think the match next week with Braun Breaker is going to be a fire match. I think it's going to be a great match, and it's going to showcase just what that Trick Williams can do in the ring.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we get the return of Carmelo during it. He said Carmelo was in the hospital. He's going to defend him. I like the rebound line. I also like that Apollo Crews gave him props on his way out because Apollo Crews was drafted back to Raw. So I did like that too, and telling him Carmelo's the man, but that don't mean you ain't a superstar. And I liked it. And he is. He's a high flyer. He's a big guy. Battleground. There you go. But I liked it all. I like Trick Williams. I would love to see him get some shine and especially if Carmelo ends up going out, that's pretty soon and going to the main roster. But yeah, Trick Williams, Braun should be a good match. Maybe Trick will get the win. Maybe Carmelo helps and pees off Braun Breaker. And I like Braun Breaker right now. I like it all. I like what NXT is doing in that aspect. The heavyweight title is awesome. I like that Braun was like, I don't like this title. It made me bad. But now he's like, you know what? I just don't want Carmelo to have it, so I want it back. So I like that. I like that he doesn't care about it, but he wants it just because he doesn't want somebody else to have it. I like where they're going with it, and I thought NXT was a solid show for all the losses that they had. We'll see about next week though when all of them are gone. I also the one thing with the draft too is that I'm hoping maybe you don't get drafted there, but maybe some of these free agents are going to go over to like a Baron Corbin. Why? That's the perfect time for him to go to NXT. Elias. Perfect time to go back to NXT. Like these are things that we need to see next week on NXT. Some of these people who are free agents go back and now they have a moment to kind of get that spotlight and push some other younger people as well. So, I mean, I think NXT still has the talent, even though they lost some good people. But I mean, Baron Corbin as a heel to make up for Grayson Waller, I mean, that's magic. That could push Baron Corbin's career again. So let's hope to see that. Yeah, let's see that. But anyway,
Ziggler could benefit from a run.
Oh yeah, I mean he went a little while ago, so I don't know if they're going to bring him back again. But
still,
yeah,
I think it helped him. It helped him significantly. So he could be case in point to why you should go to NXT and to re-elevate your career. And
100%, 100%.
And one thing too for the women, do you think it's time that they put the title on Ava Raine and let her win this thing?
Maybe. I like what they did with Schism this week too. So maybe Ava Raine. Because I don't know. I kind of feel like the dyads, after the rumors by your boy Meltzer were saying that they were gone. Obviously, I hope they win. I hope they win the titles next week, and I hope they push them. I mean, I can see Ava Raine, man. You never know.
I wouldn't hate it.
Know.
I wouldn't hate it. It would be great for the Schism.
I agree. All right. You ready for our segment? We got to get this show going. This is a long episode. It is prediction time.
Yeah, I don't have my sound bites with me today.
Oh, it's okay. You don't need them. You don't need them. We're good. Prediction time. So let me pull it up. We are going to predict who is going to win at WWE WrestleMania Puerto Rico Backlash. Let's do it. We got a lot of matches going on here. Let me see what's going on. Let me delete some of these things just so I have my Backlash roster. And we are going to start off with Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Who do you got?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes. I think they're the way they're booking this. I know I've seen people say this before, but it's very much like John Cena in 2012 or after he wrestled The Rock. I had to sit down on the entrance ramp and dwell on my loss. I mean, Cody Rhodes did the exact same thing, but he did his in the ring at WrestleMania. Then the next night, Brock Lesnar came out and attacked John Cena. The next night after WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar came out and attacked Cody Rhodes. And now at Backlash, or I think at the time for John Cena, it was Extreme Rules, the very next pay-per-view. They had a banger. It was Brock Lesnar's first match, and Cena got the win in Brock Lesnar's first match back, which I never understood why they did that. Brock Lesnar beat him down and beat the hell out of him, but Cena got the win, which just made no sense. But I think Cody Rhodes, they're going to do the same thing for Cody Rhodes. It's part of his story that he's trying to finish. He's trying to get to Roman Reigns eventually. So I think he has to beat Brock Lesnar, and I don't think it'll come without shenanigans. I don't think it'll come without some sort of cheating from Brock, but I do think Cody Rhodes is going to beat Brock Lesnar.
All right. I feel like Cody has to win. I can see this going no contest so they can continue it to keep Cody out of the title tournament that they're going to have because he wants Brock so bad. So that's how I can see Brock winning. So I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say Brock wins by cheating, by doing something wrong, maybe wrong, I don't know. And that creates Cody Rhodes having to wrestle Brock again at Night of Champions or around there where it keeps Cody out of the thing. I know back-to-back losses for Cody would suck, but I feel like he has to have Cody needs to overcome things. So I'm going to go Brock Lesnar. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's a good pick. I don't hate that pick. I just
why not?
Don't care about this match at all.
Yeah, either do I. And I don't, honestly, they're both going to survive afterwards. All right. We got a 6-man tag. We got Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. This is a hard one. Who do you got?
Oh man. I think Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens will win. And I think Jimmy Uso will take the pin.
Jimmy. All right.
Therefore, pushing more of the divide in the Bloodline with Roman and the Usos. Solo's going to look dominant. Solo's going to do all the work for them, and then the Usos are going to screw it up somehow, and that's going to make Roman upset, and it's going to add more to the division in the Bloodline.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go the Usos are effing it up, and Solo has to make the save, get the win for the Bloodline, which shows Roman Reigns, y'all can't even do anything. Solo's carrying this. So I'm going to go that route. So I'm going to go Bloodline does get the win. I'll say Solo pins Matt Riddle because why not? Matt Riddle, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're like 0-2 against each other right now. All right, here's another one. Bad Bunny. Is he still hosting? I don't know. He gave up. He relinquished his hosting job, right? Didn't he say that? Yeah. So Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. Are we going to get an upset here or no? What say you?
Man, this one. First of all, what's a San Juan street fight? Like, how's that different than?
Trying to figure it out. Yeah, I don't.
Fight? Yeah, I don't know.
Different weapons. I don't know what they.
I don't. Oh man, this one is hard because it's his home country. He was hosting it. He's the biggest star on the planet. At least that's what they say. I'm not a big Bad Bunny fan, but the commentators keep saying he's the biggest star on the planet. I'm like,
he's up there. Yeah,
the Swifties would disagree with that, and the Bayhive out there would also disagree. And but I feel like Damian Priest needs to win this match. I really think he needs to win this match. He's been looking probably the best of anybody in the Judgment Day over the last month, ever since WrestleMania. He's been looking really strong. But I think WWE is going to give the win to Bad Bunny. I think they're going to let Bad Bunny win it in his home country. And I think there's going to be some shenanigans, outside interference from Dominic Mysterio. Maybe Rey Mysterio gets involved. But I think Damian Priest is going to look great. But I think they're going to give the win to Bad Bunny, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, we're going 0 for 3. I'm going to go Damian Priest the upset. And I'm going to say Dominic gets his comeuppance after getting decked in the face twice.
He should, yes.
And finds a way to maneuver over Rey Mysterio, cost Bad Bunny the match to get revenge on his opposite, for him losing the match because of Bad Bunny, which will lead to a tag team match. So I'm going crazy these predictions. I'm gonna go Damian Priest. I might go over 7, but it's okay.
I would love it.
I'm gonna go fun.
I would love it if Bad Bunny grabs a chain and is like wraps it around his fist and is getting ready to deck Damian Priest with
the same exact finish.
Yeah, and then Dominic comes out and takes the chain away from him and is like, no, no. And then
that's
him or something. Yeah, I would love to see that. And then that's how Damian Priest gets the win.
Yeah.
I think Priest should win, but I know WWE, they love their celebrities getting their big wins, and they treat celebrities better than they treat their own wrestlers, and so I could see them putting Bad Bunny over in this match in a big way.
Well, we'll see. And we
won't see Bad Bunny ever again until next year. But Damian Priest will show up to work on Monday. But they're going to give him the win anyway.
Yeah, I just want a Judgment Day push, but all right, the one we're both going to get right. Rhea versus Zelina Vega for the SmackDown/Raw Women's Championship. I mean, SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw.
Yeah, well, oh man, Rhea Ripley, hands down. I think, again, I think Zelina Vega is going to showcase what she can do. I think she's gonna open a lot of people's eyes who may not know who she is. I think it's going to be a great match, but I don't think she's going to leave with the title.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, I think I lost you again.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Dude, my internet, man, this is the last time I'm doing this room. It's been pretty good, and now it's been out 3 times. Did you hear me? I said Zelina will have a good match. I said it'll go about 10 minutes. I think Zelina gets some offense in, some near falls, but Rhea is the winner. Maybe we should finish now. All right, the match you are most excited for, Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos. This has been the best build for Backlash so far. Everyone's excited. What say you? Who's getting the win here? We finally agreed. Are we going to agree again? Okay.
Yeah. Seth Rollins is winning this match.
I agree. Seth freaking Rollins. I think it's going to be another squash match. I'm excited to see the curb stomp. So, all right. Now for the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. Champion Bianca Belair versus Io Sky.
Oh, man.
I think this is random. Although it's had a good build, Damage Control got a win. Io looks fierce, but it's really random how they put it up together.
Yeah. And all the rumors of Damage Control breaking up, and this is going to be the beginning of the end. I could see it being that, and that Bayley costs Io Sky the victory. But either way, I do think Bianca Belair is leaving Puerto Rico with the championship. The Raw Women's Championship that's now on SmackDown. And I lost you again. You still there?
Yeah, just keep going. I was hoping you were still just going.
Yeah, no,
I was spinning. Yeah,
I was good. Yeah, but no, yeah. I think Bianca Belair is winning, hands down. They're not gonna. She's had the title over a year now, and they're not gonna have her end her title reign with a loss to Io Sky of all people. But I do think all the rumors of Damage Control. I think maybe Bayley costs Io Sky this match somehow. And that maybe that's where we get to the beginning of the end of Damage Control. But either way, Bianca Belair is leaving with the championship.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I hope it's not the end. I hope that since Damage Control all got drafted together, that they'll stay together, because they can be a really good faction if they're used properly and if they get a new push. But it looks like the beginning of the end. And yes, Bianca Belair is going to win this match easily. Last match, number 7. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory for the U.S. Championship. Who's winning?
Well, I know who's not winning, and that's Bronson Reed, because he was drafted to Monday Night Raw. Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley were drafted to SmackDown. So that tells me one of those two are leaving with the U.S. title, because Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion's on Raw. They're not going to have both mid-card titles on one brand. But I think Theory's gonna. I think Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley are gonna just brawl the whole time, and it's gonna lead to either a no contest or somehow Theory's gonna escape with the U.S. Championship. I think Theory leaves with the title. I think Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley focus on each other the whole match, and Theory takes advantage of that.
Yeah, it'll be some kind of iffy win or a roll-up or something, but Theory does come out the victor. So we ended all on the same page, so that's good. Theory will retain, keep it going. Lashley and Bronson Reed will move on to other things. Obviously not each other, which is weird because they've been feuding, and now they're not even going to finish that feud. So stupid.
Dumb decisions.
I agree. But anyway, that's WWE Thursday, y'all. We should probably end this before I disappear again. And tomorrow for our Friday AEW, we're back tomorrow. We'll be on at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Western time. I'll go upstairs tomorrow. I'll bring it all upstairs again, so I have better service, so I don't have to worry about going in and out. But yeah, AEW, man, I watched Dynamite. It's a good show, so we got some good stuff to talk about for their build for Double or Nothing. But anyway, WWE was good. Live from Boston, Shooting Star Press kept it real. Stayed in here. We got our predictions. Next Wednesday, we got to talk about we never follow up with our predictions. So I think we need to find out what our percentages are. We need to get like a ticker on starting now, like on how good we are on predicting.
I wrote them all down this time.
Okay, good. Because we need to do like a, Shooting Star is, 3 of 7 and I'm, 7-0, and then we'll go from there. But anyway, yes, and then we can do at the end of the year how good we are so people can trust our predictions or not. But as always, I'm Mr. MWO. Keep subscribing. We're keep blowing up on YouTube. Keep it going. We're loving it. The reception. You guys are watching us. You guys are digging us. Keep it up. And as always, I'm with my man, Shooting Star Press.
Yes, sir. Yep. And like you said, we're over 200 now on YouTube. So we're blowing up. Follow us on Twitch. Hit us up on Apple and Spotify, Google, Podbean, anywhere you get your podcast from. Just make sure you subscribe and rate and review us because, everything's an algorithm these days and we want to try to crack the code and get some more attention on us. But keep the follows and subscribes coming for sure because we're blowing up on the YouTube.
Yes, sir. All right. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all. AEW Friday.
Yes, sir. Yep. Two dudes are out.
Dudes out.
All right.